It looks like Canelo Alvarez is possibly closing in on a deal to fight Caleb Plant. We're going to talk about that. Contract was sent. We'll see what happens next. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you guys smash the like button. Throw a like on this video. That goes a long way when you guys click that like button to identify to other people that this is content that they may want to see. Boxing. My name is Ego. I am your host. This is my channel. All things boxing. This is your one-stop shop. Let's get it. Link in the description. ESPN reporting. Sources. A draft contract has been presented to Canelo Alvarez. Payday for September 18th fight versus Caleb Plant. A proposed PBC on Fox pay-per-view. As both sides continue to close in on a deal, details still in the process of being finalized for an undisputed 168-pound fight. Now, this is good news. You know, we just seen recently Undisputed Jermell Charlo versus Brian Castano. That was for Undisputed, even though the fight, how it ended in a draw, it didn't declare an actual undisputed champion with all the belts. Different people felt different ways, but ultimately it was the three judges who officiated that fight, and they thought it was a draw. I thought a draw was fair. Very fun fight. Interesting contrast of styles, and needless to say, the best versus the best, that's typically what you get. You get good fights. So Caleb Plant, he's the last remaining champion outside of Canelo himself. So let's see it. You know, it looks like they're inching closer to making that a reality. I personally said I wasn't sure. I'm not going to hold my breath for Canelo to make the right choice and go to PBC, which I think is the right choice at this point of his career, to try to fight Caleb Plant. Then there was like some up and down, back and forth about PBC initially sent an offer for a 3-fight deal, a multi-fight deal, and Canelo wasn't interested in that readily. And he was working with Eddie Hearn, which creates other problems in my opinion, because I keep telling you, Eddie Hearn is not needed for this deal to go through. You look at PBC, they got their own promoters. Al Heyman's an advisor to a lot of these fighters. Caleb Plant got the belt. He got his own team. He works with Al Heyman and Louis DeCubas Jr. You know, there's really no need for Eddie Hearn. Canelo Alvarez sued to get out of his Golden Boy contract to become a free agent. So, you know, Eddie Hearn tagging along is just, why? What's the point? All in all, I don't know. They're not saying if Eddie Hearn is going to be included in this deal. I'm just giving you my 2 cents. I think a deal can be, they can arrive at a deal without Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn really has nothing to do. He's not Canelo's sole promoter. Again, this was what Canelo said he wanted to become a free agent for. So he has that freedom to bounce around and work with everybody. And they said they're going to work with everybody. So now is Canelo's chance. You know? So I think Canelo should go for it. That's just me personally. If he has questions, he can check with some of the people in the gym, like Frank Sanchez, and Andy Ruiz. They're in his gym, and they're trained by Eddie Reynoso, who really blew up because of Canelo. So ask Andy Ruiz, you know, what the treatment's like. Has he been taken care of on Premier Boxing Champions? And I would say, yes. I've seen Andy Ruiz when he was with Top Rank. A lot of y'all didn't even know who he was. But as soon as he signs with Al Heyman and PBC, he had one tune-up style fight. And then Big Baby Miller failed a drug test with all these various drugs in his system. And boom, he got the call. And a call was made, or, you know, actually PBC might have reached out and said, hey, we got a fighter that'll fight Joshua. And they needed an opponent for Anthony Joshua. Boom, Andy Ruiz became the first Mexican heavyweight champion in all of history of boxing. So it's funny how things work. So Canelo has people with some tenure like that have been working with Premier Boxing Champions. And it's just funny. You see guys like Canelo and Terrence Crawford. Canelo had an opportunity to go with PBC from the gate with Amir Khan and Abner Mares and Leo Santa Cruz and Adrian Broner and Danny Garcia and Errol Spence and, you know, all the people that were working with Golden Boy, but he stayed loyal to Golden Boy. And to me, it sounds like Canelo regrets it. He regrets it in the end because now he doesn't like De La Hoya. They're not on good terms. They're not on speaking terms. And he should have went to PBC a long time ago and he wouldn't have been in this position. Now, there were things regarding the Caleb Plant fight. You've seen this post from ESPN. It says a proposed Fox pay-per-view. The thing is, I did read something. It was just on Twitter, but it was from a boxer reporter. And it said something that Canelo, sources say Canelo doesn't want to fight on pay-per-view because he wants his fans to be able to afford his fight. And I told you, if Canelo did say that, which I don't know, I never heard him say that in an interview, but this is something I've seen that was quoted from a boxing reporter. And I thought that was dumb. I thought that was dumb because when you're dealing with pay-per-view and you're a star like Canelo, like where people know him and you have a history and you're going to be fighting for Undisputed, why would you put a ceiling on how much money you can make? There is no ceiling. Can you imagine Canelo Alvarez versus Caleb Plant, who also has a great look, who's, you know, he wears drip. He's good in front of the cameras. He's a good interview. He can fight. He has some good highlights. And then you mix that with Canelo, and Canelo has a whole different market. You know, Canelo's known. He's fought the best, Triple G twice, Erislandy Lara, Mayweather. He fought against Cotto and different guys like that. And you put the two together and you put it on pay-per-view, he can make some great money. So why would you cap yourself off and say, oh, I don't like pay-per-view? That just sounds like some old media talk. Like when DAZN first came out, this is the energy they were on. But over time, you don't see them making those stupid commercials. Bye-bye pay-per-view. Them Tracy Morgan commercials and all that, because that's stupid. And at the end of the day, you can't come in like Eddie Hearn did, come in braggadocious and with this bravado talking about you're going to disrupt the American market and destroy everybody and everybody's going to head for the hills and then not make good on that. They have literally, DAZN has literally done zero to stop the pay-per-view machine. They came in and said, oh, we're doing it this way. And we have this new model. And why pay for pay-per-view when you can get the whole year for $100? That is trash, because look at how many of these fights PBC has done. Tank Davis, last 2 fights are on pay-per-view. Errol Spence, last few fights are on pay-per-view. Mikey Garcia, Sean Porter, right? Danny Garcia, and of course Pacquiao, and that's going to do good, you know, because Pacquiao's a legend. I want to, it's going to, is my fight, right? So that's going to be a good one, right? All these fights, Charlo, they put the Charlo brothers both on the same pay-per-view. Wilder on pay-per-view. And guess what? Imagine that. Like, when you have to understand, when you are on pay-per-view, when you're asking the fans to bring something to the barbecue. You know how people say, bring your own beer, BYOB, bring your own beer, and, you know, things like that. That's the same thing. It's like, instead of hosting the party and trying to do everything yourself, you ask people, hey, bring some napkins. Hey, you get the chips and dip. You get some salsa. Hey, bring some paper plates. Hey, I got the ribs and some shrimp and carne asada. Boom, boom, boom. But hey, can you bring some sodas? Hey, bring some drink. Hey, bring some girls. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just want the host to bring everything. And that's what it is. You're asking the fans and the patron, hey, you want to see Canelo and Caleb Plant? We're going to charge you $75. He's an expensive fighter. It's an event. We're going to try to do a good job and make a good undercard. Boom, boom, boom. So pay for the Canelo event. And again, DAZN has been very ineffective with getting rid of the pay-per-view market, like they lied and said they were going to do. And now it's like they don't even care about their American market. To be honest, they're not even, where's Matchroom USA? Golden Boy, who Canelo left, has put on the best fights that American fans can get behind on the whole DAZN platform. And it looks like DAZN treats Oscar kind of bad. So we'll see. But if Canelo goes to DAZN or leaves DAZN and goes to PBC, that's going to be a huge hit for DAZN, because then you won't be able to clout chase Triple G versus Canelo. Triple G doesn't want to seemingly fight anybody other than Canelo or Ryota Murata, not willing to fight a guy like Charlo or somebody who's on his side of the street like Demetrius Andrade or Jaime Munguia. And Canelo's going to be off trying to set and collect more history by fighting and possibly beating Caleb Plant if he could do it, right? And that's your biggest star. Fights like Anthony Joshua Usyk, that's cool. You know what I mean? But that's something that's like more of a UK fight. AJ has zero splash in America, especially after the Ruiz fight. Meanwhile, speaking of Andy Ruiz is vouching for Canelo in the same gym. So, you know, Eddie Hearn, he's going to look crazy if he let Canelo get away, because Eddie Reynoso's gym is packed. He got a lot of dope things. Canelo, a lot of people have him rated high and pound for pound, say he's the face of boxing. So imagine him back on pay-per-view. That's going to be, I think it'll be a good look for boxing, but it'll be a bad look for DAZN. That's basically it. I think it'll be a very bad look for DAZN, because DAZN, Eddie Hearn told you, he said that we're going to make an offer to get the fight on DAZN, and then Fox will make an offer to get the fight on their network. So from the sounds of it, it looks like Canelo's leaning and inching towards fighting on the B side, Caleb Plant's preferred network and home network. So the deal must be sweeter. So how is it that Eddie Hearn came in and said DAZN got $1 billion war chest and all this other stuff, but then your biggest star might be off platform in a matter of months? Time's running out too. So we'll see how it all plays out. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Major bad news for DAZN, but great news for the fans who are looking for unifications and Undisputed. And another big fight. I'm definitely ordering the fight. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Use my link in the description to get TUBEBUDDY. TUBEBUDDY is an awesome browser extension to help you make money if you're a content creator and you upload. You know, don't try to just do it all by yourself. Get and learn the behind the scenes tricks that the pros use, like myself, right? Use TUBEBUDDY, a lot of packed in features. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Canelo, Caleb Plant, looks like they're moving the needle, trying to get that on Fox, right? We'll see how it plays out. Like, subscribe, deuces.